Hello. How's everyone? Oh, sorry, give me a second. Okay. Feel like I'm forgetting something. Oh, yes. Stream notification. Okay. There we go. Now I got it. I was just like, there was something I needed to do and I can't remember what it was, but I got it now. But today, I wanted to kind of go through some of my personal TikToks that I've favorited that are, that kind of caught my eye, about current events to see whether or not, they're true or not, whether, they may be blown out of proportion. I want to see if that information, which is being spread to a lot of people, because TikTok does that very easily, I want to see if those are true and what they mean exactly. It's not Trouble in Terrorist Town. It's not that. No. But yeah, I also added a new redeem as well. I had a new redeem, so if anybody has like a question and I didn't see it, because typically I try my best to see it, but if there's a question that I didn't see, you can redeem that and I'll know, and then you can type your question again. Okay. Oh, my personal TikTok. That over there. I already did that. Okay. Okay, so there is... I'm not going to show the TikToks because I have a feeling TikTok is going to restrict me for not showing for not showing original content, which I am original content. Fuck you. But yeah, there's this TikTok that I favorited just because if it's true, oh no. If it's not true, thank God. And it's called the Trump administration to use the EPA to ban birth control, which is very important. Birth control is very important, but I want to make sure that that is completely true. Yeah, it is Tough Talk Thursday, put on Saturday. Drinking water rules. The test drinking water. Okay, first, let's look up what EPA is. I'm going into one of these articles first, just to see what EPA is. Environmental Protection Agency. Okay, what is the Environmental EPA? All right. We're not going to use the AI thing. What is the EPA? Typically, they have like a thing on their page that says like, what is the EPA? Yep, about EPA. Our mission and what we do. Planet budgeting results, headquarters, organization, regional office, EPA history. Okay. Our mission and what we do. The mission of EPA is to protect human health and environment. EPA works to ensure Americans have clean air, land, and water. National efforts to reduce environmental risks are based on the best available scientific information. We are talking about, oh my God, I already got restricted. It has been 5 minutes. Oh my God. Hold on. I'm going through my personal TikToks that I have favorited. Because they were concerning to me. So it's going to talk about a variety of topics. Right now, we are talking about how the Trump administration wants to use the Environmental Protection Agency to ban birth control. And I think that's because he's testing he wants to test the water for that medication being founded by Nixon and apparently in Fallout 2. God. Oh, God. But yeah, I already got my shit restricted. Thank you, TikTok's AI, because I bet you it's TikTok's AI. This is a discussion. But yes, the Environmental Protection Agency have clean air, land, and water. National efforts to reduce environmental risks are based on the best available scientific information. Federal laws protecting human health and the environment are administered and enforced fairly, effectively, and as Congress intended. Which is concerning. Environmental stewardship is integral to U.S. policies concerning natural resources, human health, economic growth. I mean, I guess the environment can play. Yeah, that shouldn't be a main thing for the Environmental Protection Agency to focus on. I feel like economic growth. Energy, transportation, agriculture, industry, and internal trade. These factors are similarly considered in establishing environmental policy. It's probably AI, but I don't have enough faith in humanity to say it isn't intentional. That... not true. All parts of society, communities, individuals, businesses, and state, local, and tribal governments have access to accurate information sufficient to effectively participate in managing human health and environmental risks. Contaminated lands and toxic sites are cleaned up by potentially responsible parties and revitalized, and chemicals in the marketplace are reviewed for safety. Okay. So that's their mission. That's what they do. However, I want to read more about this. Okay, this is a .com, which doesn't mean it's bad, but it's not one thing to say it's not exactly reliable. Okay, let's look at Alana. Let's look at the author. The government went in and overwrote human written pages with AI slop. I wouldn't be surprised since the author could have been a DEI hire. Oh God. Alana Vagianos. I think it's Alana I don't think it's Vagianos. I think it's Vagianos. Where she covers gender and politics, which is unfortunately what we're talking about, because birth control is very gendered thing. She's been with the HuffPost since 2013, previously working on the Voices desk and Trends team before joining the national team in 2019. She reported extensively on sexual assault and intimate partner violence, including major sexual assault cases like Larry Nassar, Bill Cosby, and R. Kelly trials. Okay. She's also traveled around the country to report on reproductive justice and abortion access. Alana has doggedly covered both the Biden and Trump administration's policies, ranging from abortion clinic violence to fertility treatment access. From Florida to Kansas and Ohio, Alana has detailed the consequences of abortion restrictions on women and birthing people since the Supreme Court repealed the consequences of abortion restrictions on women and birthing people since this... repealed Roe v. Wade, excuse me. Her work often highlights the human cost of political decisions around healthcare and bodily autonomy. She received YWCA's Women of Voice and Power Award in 2017, in part for her reporting. Before joining HuffPost, she worked at Bust Magazine and the Feminist Majority Foundation. She is based in New York City. That is a fantastic biography. It is a very biased biography into a more liberal perspective. However, what makes me trust her a bit more is both the Biden and Trump administrations. If it just said Trump administrations, it'd be like, okay, that'd be a little bit more untrustworthy. Because she did both of them, I am more willing to believe her as a journalist, as a documenter. Yeah, she also covered Larry Nassar, Bill Cosby, and R. Kelly trials, which is very good. And YWCA's Women of Voice and Power Award in 2017. Let me look up what this is, what this award is. You can give her the credit she deserves. That's just Minneapolis. Silicon Valley. I just want the... What is it, though? What is it? Good for them. Established Women of Power Award to honor women from the private and public sectors across Twin Cities who have demonstrated commitment, enthusiasm, and support for our mission. Award recipients are recognized leaders and inspiring role models who have championed racial justice and gender equity through their careers and community work. Okay. So now we know what that is. I think she is personally a reliable source of information. However, a lot of people would probably disagree with me, and I understand that. Oh, my goodness. Am I still restricted? Appeal not approved. Okay. Well, if someone pops in, it is what it is. Supreme Court extends abortion pill access by mail for... We will look at that one in a second. I will look at that one in a second. I like her stuff, Magic Man. Updated April 22nd. So this is a little bit later. However, I still think it is important. It does say the date that it is written. To propose, we also ban condoms to make it fair, but this is the same government that engineered the AIDS epidemic and experimented with giving people syphilis, so they'd absolutely go for it. Oh yeah. They would absolutely do whatever they want to further their own agenda rather than consider people that need help. There was a another TikTok of a woman that does have money, and she went to some, I can't remember what it was, but some convention, and she saw a 70-year-old man who was a personal chef that shared about his experiences being a personal chef with other people that have money and how he was mistreated very, very often. And so she said, I have the ability, I can afford to help, so why wouldn't I? And I think that is a fantastic mindset as well. We can also talk about the stupid-ass Trump phones that are fucking idiotic as hell. But I feel like this is more important. Democratic Senator Ron Wyden of Oregon is demanding answers from the Environmental Protection Agency following an extreme move that could hinder access to abortion and birth control pills. The Trump administration's EPA recommendation earlier this month, which is... See a minute. Oh my god, this is... There's so many of these. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, in coordination with the Federal Work Group in Pharmaceuticals in Water, including the U.S. Department of Agriculture, USDA, U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA, and U.S. Geological Survey, USGS, developed human health benchmarks for pharmaceuticals that are approved by the FDA and may occur in sources of water and or treated drinking water. To develop each benchmark, EPA uses the lowest oral therapeutic dose from FDA-approved labels. Released benchmark values for one of the general populations. One for infants. EPA may update. They're not going after just birth control. They're going after everything. Every medicine that they disagree with. They're going after everything. Fuck, they're going after everything. They're gonna use this to try to get any medication they disagree with off the market. Like, they're gonna be like, we need to get fentanyl off the market. And they're gonna probably advertise it as more harmful drugs like fentanyl, because fentanyl overdoses are extremely harmful. But they're gonna say, we need to get fentanyl off, and people are gonna be like, yeah, and then they're gonna underlyingly like sneak in any medication that they don't agree with. Yeah, what if they want to get rid of ibuprofen? They have information on all of these. can't I get into this? Being an American puts me in a tough spot when wanting universal healthcare. Because I do not trust this information with my healthcare. I trust companies even less! What the fuck is this? What is going on? I need to show you guys what I'm seeing. Hold on. I don't know if this is my computer fucking up. It very well could be, but this is not okay. Why is it not letting me show it? This is what I'm getting right now. I don't know what this is. I have an emoji in there. What is this? Bruh. If anyone can tell me if this is my computer or if... Because I clicked on the link, it downloaded to my computer, and then it showed up as that. So fucking dumb. What is that, bro? Anyway, making it hard for us to get access to information. Okay, can I click on this? Some Asian script that I cannot discern. What type of file is it? That's a good question, actually. Hold on. It is an XLSX. Created in 2007? What the fuck is that? They're making it hard. What is this? I shouldn't take that word for it. What is this? Rename it to zip and then you can open it. Okay. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Said rename it to zip. Okay. This is really funny. I don't know if I even have Excel stuff on here. Maybe that's why it didn't work. Bunch of code. Anyway. Okay. Can I open it in here? How do I get it on the sheets on my computer? I'm not a super technical person. I don't know how to do this. I don't. It's just local shush import. Hold on. There we go. I did it. I'm so smart. Okay. I don't know sheets. Okay, I didn't take a class on how to use this program. I took a class on how to use music making programs. Okay. This disclaimer, this document does not Is that it? Where's the rest of it? Huh? Oh! I see. Okay. But okay. This document does not represent and should not be construed to represent any agency determination or policy. References to entity names, commercial products, or trademarks are for factual purposes only and are not an endorsement by the United States government or U.S. Environmental Protection Agency of these entities or their products, services, or enterprises. Okay. I don't like that statement. But I know they probably had to do that for legal reasons. Actually, let me look at the abbreviations again. Probably gonna have to go back and forth. Drinking water intake, body weight, human health benchmark for pharmaceuticals, lowest daily dose, lowest observed. Lowest therapeutic dose, maximum recommended therapeutic dose, no observed adverse effect level. Point of departure, reference dose for screening dose, uncertain. Full list of candidates. Excluded from benchmark development. Pharmaceuticals excluded from benchmark development. What are these? Not an FDA approved drug. A lot of these are not FDA approved drugs. Are the others FDA approved? Okay. Human health benchmarks for pharmaceuticals. Infant benchmark. General population benchmark. Yeah, okay, so you're supposed to calculate it. Variables. Hold on, I have to talk chat so I can a little bit. I'm so sorry. Okay. Right, contraindications. Contraindications? What is that? Did I say that right? Is it contradictions? Is that No, it's not. How do you say that? Is a condition that serves reason not to take a certain medical treatment. Oh, okay. How do you say it? Get out of here.
Contraindication. Contraindication.
Contraindication. Oh my god. I should have known that. That was very dumb of me. Okay. Okay, so we have the infant benchmark, general population benchmark. Okay, so they're testing the water for all of these. Very long list. Not all. Do all of them not have? Is that just general variables? No. No. There's gonna be variables with everything. Okay. Gonna do my best to interpret this. National Drug Code, so that's just how it's listed in, like, packaging. Okay. They look like variables used for calculations across the board. No, but I don't like that it's put this way, you know? Because it makes it seem like it's specific to each of these. I don't like that. It should have been a completely different thing. But whatever. Infant dose. Looks like another drug regulation that affects all drugs not targeted. It can be abused as all regulations can be. Yeah. I mean, acetaminophen is... Yeah, I'm going to look into what these specifically are. Maybe a kefir. What is that? Treat HIV and AIDS. Interesting. Type 2 diabetes, insulin. Still gonna look into a couple of these just to make sure there's not a pattern. So that's diabetes. Only way we can tell if something is targeted is for someone who understands the field to go one by one to see if anyone is unreasonable and check if there's some kind of drug prevalence in the kind of drugs here. Yeah, that's I'm gonna do kind of a general one. See. You know, I'm pretty sure acetaminophen is just pain relief. acetaminophen. See... I don't have to. Yeah. Okay. Just pain relief. Okay. I'm gonna scroll randomly. This one. Lexin. Bacterial infections. It just, it sucks like the first one was like about HIV and it's just like, oh, that one seems a little targeted. I'm gonna go down a bit more. I'm trying not to be biased. Okay. Fluvastatin. And your judgment won't be indicative because you don't know if there's more of one type of medication than others in general. Yeah, exactly. Proper diet to lower cholesterol levels. Okay, yeah. This does seem like a general one for sure. Naproxen. That's why I'm not really giving any... Yeah, I'm not really giving any opinion right now. I'm just looking. Nicotine. I know what nicotine is. And then we're gonna just valproic acid. And this will be the last one. No, I'm not looking at that one. Used to treat certain seizures, epilepsy. This medicine is an anticonvulsant that works with brain tissues to stop seizures. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so yes, this does just look like a general one. General list that they tested for sure. However, doesn't mean what they test for isn't inherently biased either. Because they're testing the water for any leftover traces of these medications in drinking water, because they're quote unquote afraid that infants will intake these medications. And so I think, yeah. That states begin testing drinking water for certain forms of abortion pills and contraceptives and other stuff. A worrisome move that comes after years-long, maybe, but neither of us will know. Yeah. After years-long pressure campaign from anti-abortion organizations weaponizing environmental regulation to further undermine access to care. Will it... That may be... This makes it seem like they're doing it on purpose, and they may be doing this on purpose to do exactly this, but they are doing other things as well. They're testing in general about traces of drinking water. And if that's the case, in my opinion, they should be looking at the treatment plants for drinking water rather than looking to stop people from taking needed medication. Because I know RFK, who's in charge of... for some reason, what is he in charge of? I can't remember the title. RFK. State Secretary of Health and Human Services. Okay, that makes sense. I know he thinks that people are over-medicated a lot of the times. And so, just in general, this isn't just about abortion care. I think they're trying to restrict healthcare for even more, in general, more people. It's just that they might be like aiming to do abortion care quicker. I know they've talked about wanting to get people off of wanting to talk about getting people off of like depression and anxiety medication. Excuse me. And so I'm gonna keep reading because clearly somebody has gone through all of this. I don't know if it's this author, but I do think somebody has gone through all of this. Earlier this month, EPA released a list of 374 drugs that states and counties should monitor. The agency has also advised local governments to create human health benchmarks, which would dictate how much of a medication can exist in water systems before it is defined as a contaminant. This does not include mifepristone, the main abortion pill that has been at the center of abortion debates, but it does include misoprostol and methotrexate. I mean this in the nicest way they deserve, but what is it with these old fucks wanting us to suffer in their twilight years? 2 drugs for medication, abortions, and other health issues, as well as several forms of daily birth controls, and the NuvaRing. This list is not meant to all-out ban. This list is not meant to lead to an all-out ban on medications, the EPA said, but the agency acknowledged that it could pave a way for restrictions. Human health benchmarks for pharmaceuticals are not regulations and are not enforceable on their own, but they are a vital resource empowering local decision makers to evaluate risks and protect their communities when pharmaceutical contamination is detected at concerning levels. Which is not the route I would take. Again, I would look at the water treatment plants. Yeah, an all regulation ban. That's not the way to go for it. This just seems like an excuse to get people off of needed medication to me. And you need to be looking at water treatment plans, in my opinion. It just seems like they are just trying to get more information on the population. To me. Trace amounts of all medication, including over-the-counter drugs like ibuprofen, can be found in wastewater, according to the Guttmacher Institute, a national reproductive health research organization. But there are no scientific evidence to back up the claim that abortion pills or birth control are polluting drinking water or harming the environment. There's no evidence of any of that, of harming the environment. At least through the drinking water. There's no evidence of any of that. It is concerning in current government, but I think idea in general is fine. I don't think it's relatively fine, in my opinion. EPA has historically released a benchmark for pesticides, but this is the first time the department has developed a list of pharmaceutical drugs. I do think the EPA might be, like, they're raising, I guess, a concern. I don't know why they went with pharmaceutical drugs when that's typically not their department of concern. I don't see that there's evidence of really any of these drugs contaminating the water exactly. I think there's a bunch of other contaminants that they need to be more concerned about, like other types of waste in our contaminating actual drinking water instead of wastewater. I do think that that's more concerning. Amoxicillin is a antibacterial, which again, if they want to restrict everything on this list, they're going to restrict an antibacterial, an HIV medication. They're going to restrict, I saw another hold on, this one is an antibacterial. Respiratory tract infections. Caffeine. You want them to restrict your caffeine? Oh no. Oh no. Some people are not going to like it. Let's see. What did you put, local? Let me see what this is. Pharmaceuticals and drinking water, a scoping review to raise pharmacists. Sorry. Oh. TikTok was acting up. Pharmaceuticals and drinking water, a scoping review to raise pharmacists' public health and environmental awareness on contamination in groundwater, surface water, and other sources. Oh, it is open to everybody. Oh, hello. Oh, hello. Let's see. To summarize knowledge of medication. Medication disinfection by products. Compounds formed when pharmaceutical contaminants react with disinfectants found in drinking water and its sources. Okay, this is found in drinking water, not wastewater. Wastewater is after it's been used and it needs to be treated again. Like the water you use to wash your hands. That's wastewater. Surface water, groundwater. They tested wastewater. This one's testing drinking water, which that is concerning. But this is testing wastewater. It's not unreasonable to want to keep antibiotics out of the water. That's how you get waterborne superbugs. Yeah. I lost the, where did it go? There it is. Aiming to raise awareness and empower pharmacists to implement best practice for improving public health and reducing environmental impact. Again, I think it should be, instead of a ban on medication, it should be a better look on treatment plants, on better methods of disposal. That's what I personally think should happen. It's a more permanent solution. I do agree that it's not supposed to specifically target abortion care. However, I do think they will try to abuse that fact. Scoping review was conducted according to a review. Preferred report items for systematic reviews and meta-analysis. Analyses extension for scoping reviews. Data were retrieved, because data is plural, retrieved from Medline and Embase between 2005 and 2023 using keywords related to drinking water, pharmaceutical waste, and water purification. Okay. Wouldn't shock me if RFK Jr. jumped onto this ban Tylenol in his war on autism too. Yeah, he doesn't really like autistic people, unfortunately. Alright, if I ever shake my mouse, it's because it's fucking up. Articles had to focus on human medication use and originate from North America and Europe. Data on types of medication concentrations found in drinking water or its sources and types of byproducts were extracted, and narrative synthesis was written. Okay, I do agree that found in drinking water is more concerning than found in wastewater. Pharmaceutical waste and these should not be the same category, in my opinion. They should not be lumped together, in my opinion. Drinking water and pharmaceutical waste. You wouldn't drink pharmaceutical waste unless somebody is not responsibly disposing of said medication. And water purification would be here. I do feel like water purification would be here. I don't know if it should be in these, though. Key findings. 45 articles were included. Wastewater is where drinking water comes from. That's where some drinking water comes from. It's a treatment plant. That delicious pharmaceutical waste. You don't drink just straight up wastewater. You don't drink soapy water. That's bad for you. Please don't drink soapy water. 45 articles were included. So 45 articles of other people's findings were included to create kind of a mass collection of data. Among predefined classes, antihypertensives. Oh god. Analgesics, antibiotics, and psychotropic medications were most frequently found. Most commonly identified medications including carbamazepine, diclofenac, ibuprofen, and acetaminophen, paracetamol. Okay, so that makes sense because these are over-the-counter drugs. Traces of medications were present in many water sources. Okay, with higher concentrations near pharmaceutical industries. Yeah, that makes sense. Some medications like carbamazepine, persist in the environment for extended periods. Okay, let me look up what carbamazepine is. Because unfortunately, I'm not patient enough to read this. Alert may cause life-threatening allergic reactions called Stevens-Johnson syndrome. I don't want AI, shut up. Is used to control certain types of seizures, to treat neuralgia, facial nerve pain, and to treat episodes of mania. Okay. Symptoms of mania and depression that happen at the same time. People with bipolar 1 disorder. Anticonvulsants. Okay, so it was mainly prescribed as an anticonvulsant, and then it had I think it had a side effect of treating mood disorders, which bipolar 1. Okay. Where'd it go? Carbamazepine persists in the environment for extended periods of time, although not necessarily found in drinking water. Medication disinfection byproducts can be toxic, and further evidence is required to assess their risk. So yes, if we have wastewater, wastewater is where most of our drinking water does come from. I do agree. However, it is put through treatment plants. It has to be, right? Water treatment plant. No, don't look at the AI. Sorry, because this used to just be like a summary of articles, and now it's an AI overview, and I'm just like, no. Drinking water utilities treat water to remove harmful germs and chemicals and meet safety standards. Utilities must make sure the water they deliver to your tap is safe to drink. Different utilities will use different treatment steps depending on the initial quality of the water. Water source. Coagulation chemicals added. Coagulation, flocculation, sedimentation, filtration, disinfection. Do a search conclusion. What? Conclusion? What did I do? Local police, I don't understand. But yeah, okay. I haven't even reached the conclusions. What was your question? You said you had searched conclusions. I don't know what you mean by that. Many medications are found in drinking water and its sources, highlighting the need for pharmacists to consider their public health impact. Best practices such as prescribing only when necessary, deprescribing, social green prescribing, and opting for environmentally friendly alternatives should be enforced. I disagree with this. I do think that with our with our healthcare system, because this also includes EU, right? Yep, North America and Europe. I think that with the United States right now and our healthcare system, our healthcare system makes sure that we only prescribe when needed, because it goes through every alternative before ever going to one that may actually work. You asked where drinking water comes. It must be from treatment plants, and search treatment plants. You search conclusion instead of question. Okay, that's true. Where do we get our drinking water? Nope. Okay. Most tap waters come from reservoirs, lakes, rivers, or under the ground. You can help protect your water supply from harmful germs and chemicals. Okay. Water flowing from your tap may come from right next to your home or from hundreds of miles away. Most U.S. tap water is delivered by utilities through public water systems or is pumped out of the ground from a private well. United States get water from public water systems. These systems are most often supplied by surface water or groundwater. Large cities and towns usually get their water from surface water supplies or mix of surface and groundwater supplies. Some rural communities rely solely on groundwater supplies. Okay. They don't come directly from... Yeah. Groundwater is naturally filtered, which may remove some germs and chemicals. How much is filtered out depends on how far the water is below the ground. Though not common rainwater. If you do not get your water from a public water system, you most likely get it from a private ground well. Tap water sources: surface water, groundwater, recycled water, reused water, rainwater. I'm saying your method is flawed. You're right, you're right. You absolutely caught me there. Thank you. Is all water treated before... That was caps lock. Drinking. How do we get our drinking water in the U.S.? Why is it giving me? Drinking water comes from lakes, rivers, and groundwater. For most Americans, water then flows from intake points to treatment plant. Storage tank then to your house. Okay. So yes, we do get a lot of our drinking water from what you said. However, most of the time it does get treated. I did jump to that conclusion because I assumed most of our water got treated. However, this is a npr.org. What does NPR stand for? Where most Americans' water flows from intake points to a treatment plant to a storage tank, then to our houses through various pipe systems. Okay. Yeah. So yes, our lakes and rivers and groundwater would get contaminated with said chemicals. It would then run to a treatment plant, and then that water would become drinkable. But for the areas that don't have the treatment plant, this would be a concern. This would be a concern. But most of our water does go through a treatment plant. So... I don't think am I assuming the wrong thing here? Wait, no. I don't want to doubt myself, but I also don't want to jump to a conclusion that's unreasonable. I know I'm being biased right now, but I'm trying not to be biased. I very was a minute ago. I'm trying not to be biased. Let me look up What percentage of drinking water gets treated before? Please? Where did you get this? Drinking water. 9 out of 10 people get their tap water from a regular public water system. Okay. So 90%, according to the CDC, gets their water from a regulated public water system, which treats our water to get rid of bad chemicals in our water. Then 10% gets it from private water. It's probably... Hello? My mouse is not being very nice to me right now. I'm so sorry. Dense layer of... When rain falls, much of it goes in the groundwater, not used by plants. Dogger bore wells, driven wells, drilled wells, many types of water wells. But yeah. Private wells are not regulated. Yes. Okay, so people with private wells and people that are just not covered in general, I hope they're covered. But people with private wells, they are more susceptible to said contamination of water. They're more susceptible to that. So thank you, local, for pointing out that I jumped the gun a little bit. Thank you. That was not very appropriate of me. I think we've reached a conclusion. I hope I'm not being incredibly biased, or I am being inherently biased. Everyone's inherently biased. I hope I'm still not being incredibly biased. I do think that the United States should see who has the privately owned wells, and try to, I guess, warn them about said medication in water if that is a concern in their area. Rather than, I still am of the opinion that it should not be a regulation of the medication itself, but more of an environmental regulation rather than a prescription regulation. This is a concern. I do get it. I get it now. And again, I do not think it's just for abortion medication, but I do think they're banning big water. No, they're probably not banning big water. They're never gonna do that. I don't think it's specifically targeting abortion medication, but I do think they're going to use it as an excuse to still not have abortion medication. If one thing of logic doesn't work, they're going to jump to another. I do think that's going to happen. So, they're going to make it harder to get. But they're going to make every medication on that list harder to get as well. So, the logic here is if they do go specifically after abortion medication, this is what I'm thinking. The logic in my mind is if they do go specifically after abortion medication, we should also bring out other medication on that list as well. Like, if you restrict abortion medication on this list, you have to restrict all these other medications as well. And they'll probably go for it, unfortunately. Be like, yeah, exactly. Okay. Thank you, again, thank you, local, for catching me on that. It was very important to be caught on. I do think we can move on. And local, feel free to continue to look up articles if you want to as well. I'm definitely open to looking at that as well. Local, you are absolutely allowed to do that. Okay, let me see. Oh yeah, the term underbabied. Ugh. Ugh. Under Underbabied. Term. I do need to look up Dr. Oz. Dr. Oz. Administrator for the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. Okay, so he works for the government now. They can set contamination limits on specific meds reasonably low, but that's for experts to test, and we won't be able to test it here. I agree. Excuse you, let me go into the dirt. That was disgusting, awful, and I did so horrible, which is... What? Shame on the House of Curiosity stream. Who thought video interviews were a good idea? Oh no. Oh no, you had a video interview. But yeah, he is... Dr. Oz is, a government official for the Administrator for the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. Which is... What is your initiative? Burden... What? A lot of initiatives. Hello? What is your, like, summary? Give me your summary. About. There we go. Who we are, what we do, where we are. I had an interview for Best Buy, which is legit one of the places I've always wanted to work the most, and it was so bad. Like, just let me come in person. I'm so sorry. Who we are, what we do. Anyway, he's the administrator of Medicare and Medicaid Services, which is our government our government healthcare system, which has been cut back recently, actually. Is the federal agency. Oh, here it is. So sorry, let me move my TikTok chat again. It's gone now. Great. Is the federal agency that provides health coverage to more than 160 million through Medicare, Medicaid, and Children's Health Insurance Program and the health insurance marketplace. The CMS works in partnership with the entire healthcare community to improve quality, equity, and outcomes in the healthcare system. Yeah, this is our government healthcare that we have, and he's the leader of it. It was just a Zoom interview. I think I'd be fine, but these little recorded clips where I have 10 seconds to read the question and start thinking of a reply is so bad. Yeah, I think they're just making it hard for you, exactly. So he's the administrator for our government healthcare. TikTok check back. Where the fuck did it go? Okay, there it is. And he coined the term underbabied. Dr. Oz says Americans are underbabied as he predicts an upcoming wave of Trump babies. See. Who is this? Brooke Midgen. Brooke Midgen joined People. This is people.com. So again, he's not even a licensed doctor, or is that Dr. Phil? No, this is Dr. Oz, and I'm pretty sure Dr. Oz is a licensed doctor. He is a physician, excuse me. Yep. Received degrees in medicine and business, great, from University of Pennsylvania. Subsequently began his residency in surgery at Presbyterian Hospital, founding a cardiac center, various types of alternative medicine to heart disease. Became a professor of surgery at Columbia University. So yeah, he's a full-on physician. He is a doctor. This one, Dr. Oz is a doctor. What is a Trump baby? Babies belonging to Trump things, but if my baby ends up being Trump, I don't want it. That's not what we're looking at. That's not what we're looking at. I'm looking at the term underbabied, okay? So an administrator of our governmental health care coined the term quote-unquote underbabied, which is basically what he referred to as women not having enough children. Pretty much. I wanted to look up that term specifically. Let's see what he said in context. That's what I'm trying to see. Again, I'm looking at the author. Looking at the author to see if she is a reliable source of information. Journalist with experience reporting on national politics. I wish there was a more informative, instead of People's Magazine, I wish there was a more informative article, to be completely honest. Coverage of LGBTQ plus political issues. Okay. I'm looking for more just the medical side of this rather than a political one. But I definitely saw physicians. I'm going through TikTok specifically, so this is kind of sensationalized news, and I'm just trying to get to the bottom of such sensationalized news. Sounds like he noticed population decline. Our population is declining, which is a worldwide issue in wealthy countries at the moment. Yes, exactly. It is a worldwide issue, but I'm just trying to get to but yeah, more the context of it. Okay, so I mean, she seems like she knows what she's talking about. Want to watch man speak for himself? Was there... I don't want to look on Reddit. The Cut. I don't want to. Link I sent? Oh, perfect. Always welcome. Let me pause that and pause my music. Ugh, sorry, I have to get over my own inherent bias. I'm so sorry.
Great guy. Okay, go.
Oh, great. Hi, ads. Wonderful. Don't look at this. Hold on. Just skip.
That 1 in 3 Americans are underbabied. What does underbabied
Dr.
mean?
Oz.
That means that you either don't have any children or you have less children than you would normally want to have. And to Katie's point, we have a crisis that's causing our fertility rate to drop below 1.5. The replacement rate is 2.1. So we're way below what we need just to replace the people.
Per household, that's on average, 2.1 per household.
People that we have in America. And one of the challenges is that rural America, where there's 60 million people, have a mortality rate, maternal mortality rate when they have babies, that's about 30% higher than if you live in an urban area. One of the ways the president wanted to address this was creating something in the Working Families Tax Cut legislation, which is, I think, the most ambitious, fantastic program ever written to help fix the healthcare system. The president saved Medicaid in the Working Families Tax Cut legislation.
Okay, we'll have to look at that.
He also invested with Congress's help, and Senator Britt and her colleagues voted for this of the House, to put in $50 billion into rural health care. That's $10 billion a year for the next 5 years. All the money went out the door on time, and it's being used for incredibly...
This is Body Armor. Real hydration with
I'm getting ads in articles? This is ridiculous. I got 2 ads in a minute.
To help
That's
Americans
stupid.
living in rural America have babies safely. Your zip code should not determine your mortality rate if you're having a baby. That is going to change. There's a great program in southern Alabama. They call it LA, Lower Alabama.
I love that you know that.
Yes, I've been there. That is allowing us to use these new ultrasound probes now, even if you don't have an obstetrician in your county, because in many counties in LA, which is Lower Alabama, that is the case. We have states, and all the governors are embraced on this, investing a lot of money training more people to work in rural America, and we're also using telehealth tools. So you have big sophisticated urban centers adopting smaller facilities, clinics, so they can help moms deliver babies wherever they may live. You don't have to drive across state to get there. Now, as great as this all is, and as fantastic as it has been to have 50 governors, in this case, Mr. President, even the Democratic governors are on board. It's such a good offer. It's such a beautiful way of keeping your people healthy that everyone's embraced this program. We still can't do it by ourselves. We have to invest in the American people. We have to have governors and private sector partners that make this happen, as well as, and I hope the Secretary can speak to this in a moment, because MAHA is probably vital to this effort. You have to get moms healthy enough to do the most creative thing the universe knows, which is making babies. So Olivia, maybe you can take the...
I'm sorry. The most creative thing the universe knows, which is making babies. I'm so sorry. He was talking and that just incredibly threw me off.
Message around the private sector involvement and how you and your family have gotten involved in this and led the way, and maybe we can talk about...
I need to watch this again and go step by step.
That's great, guy. Okay, go ahead. So let me speak a little bit about the reality that 1 in 3 Americans are under-babied. What does under-babied mean? That means that you either don't have any children or you have less children than you would normally want.
Just that you don't have any children or you have less children than you would normally want to have. They are investing in healthcare for they are investing healthcare for the fertility crisis. They're investing in healthcare, which is good. It is a thank you, local. It is a crass way to put it. I was trying to think of a more proper way to say that because I'm just like, how do you know what people want? But sorry, excuse me. I was trying to think of a better way to say that. If I'm underbabied, I'm concerned having -1 or more shots is a cause for concern. Yeah. But yeah, I just... but yes.
Want to have. And to Katie's point, we have a...
It's not like it is less children or no... It's no children or less children than what the government wants you to have for the replacement rate.
That's causing our fertility rate to drop below 1.5.
Which means 1.5 children on average are being born per household.
The replacement rate is 2.1. So
2.1 on average per household.
We're way below what we need just to replace the people that we have in America. And one of the challenges is that rural America, where there's 60 million people, have a mortality rate, maternal mortality rate when they have babies. That's about 30% higher than if you live in an urban area.
So people out kind of in the country have a 30%, according to Dr. Oz, has a 30% higher mortality rate than people in cities because they have less access to healthcare.
One of the ways the president wanted to address this was creating something in the Working Families Tax Cut legislation, which...
And that's what I wanted to look up. The Working Families Tax Cut bill. I wanted to look that up. Summary in progress. Fuck you. What? There's one version of this bill introduced a year ago? Why is this coming up now? This pass? It was only introduced into the House. This was okay. Why is he talking about? Why have they not updated this? I do agree that a shrinking population is bad. I mean, come on. I think this population shrink in Korea is like under 1. So they're actively losing people. They're not like the replacement rate is 2.1 and we have 1.5, which is kind of like a very slow decline. It's kind of still in the maintaining population average. However, they're in, I think, 0.9, which they are actively bombing their population. They're actively shrinking their population because it's so hard to live there. I'm trying to see this bill, and he talked about that 5 days ago, and I can't see this bill because it was a year ago? What? It has to pass in both the House and the Senate. Feels like an executive acknowledgement of the Great Replacement Theory, because we have, or at least we used to have, a ton of people trying to get in, which should make up for the population decline of the native population, but these people seem to take issue with the idea of our ethnic or cultural identity morphing in any way. I do agree that our government is inherently racist. I do agree with that. Experience of fertility 1 and 3. Again, underbabied is just, I hate that term. I hate that term. Flanked by the nation's President Donald Trump signed an executive order in the Oval Office Monday to establish moms.gov. What is this? Actually a disease? A website aimed at supporting expectant mothers with additional resources. Okay. During the event, Trump riffed about his move. You can tell by the vocabulary, but that there is inherently bias, I think, against him as well. Which, trust me, I'm not for him at all, but you can still kind of see the vocabulary choices. About his moves to cap the price of prescription drugs, and slammed the media over what he claimed was a refusal to cover the topic. The media, they don't want to write about it. Think of it, we're reducing drug prices by 50, 60, or 80, or 75%. Anyway, it's all about phrasing of the question, and the media doesn't write about it. It's amazing. It's so sad. It's biased. What is he talking about? Okay, what the fuck? Want to avoid...
If you love the official...
Discover Bork. I skip. Add-ins in 10 seconds. Ugh. Okay, this is talking about him. I'm talking about moms.gov.
We're reducing drug prices by 500, 600%, or 80%, or 75%. Anyway, it's all about the phrasing of the question, and the
Oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Ugh. It's just the way he talks. I know.
media doesn't write about it. It's amazing. It's so sad. It's so biased, and that's why the media, their approval rating went down just today, 12%.
Okay. That's not what I was asking about. I'm not asking about your approval rating. I'm not asking about your shit, okay? I just wanted to know what moms.gov was. I wanted you to talk about that. I don't like how he talks. I'm sorry.
12%. That's why I got elected with 97% bad stories. I won in a landslide because you have no credibility.
You didn't win in a landslide.
So I wish the media would write about it. It's probably the biggest story. Certainly it's got to be maybe the biggest story in medicine, if you think. I mean, when you get
Whew. I'm so sorry. This man infuriates me. Okay. He's talking. Okay. I need to restart. So I'm not angry. I need to restart. I'm so sorry.
The media, they don't want to write about it. Think of it. We're reducing drug prices by 500, 600%,
so
or
stressed.
80%, or 75%. Anyway, it's all about the phrasing of the question.
He also said 500, 600%, and this article has said only 50 or 60%. So, don't really like this article right now.
And the media doesn't write about it. It's amazing. It's so sad. It's so biased, and that's why the media, their approval rate.
Okay. I think why I don't like him, really, is because he talks about himself all the time. I don't care about you. You are not a celebrity. You are the figurehead of the people. You do not need to be sensationalized. I do not care about you. He talks about himself a lot. I want to know what he's doing. And he talks in a way that kind of pushes like his image. It's very how do I put this? He talks in a way that's just like a narcissistic parent, and your child is the United States, in my opinion. So, as someone, I don't care about your life. I don't care about your approval rating. I want to know what you're doing for the people because that's your job. I don't care. Hello, Zen. We want to know about mom.gov. Might as well not listen to anything else he says. You're right. It's a government. He set up mom.gov. Let me see what mom.gov is. The site can't be reached? What? What? He set up mom.gov and it can't be reached yet? Why announce mom.gov if it's not available? Did he say... Did I miss that he's... Okay. Hold on. 5 days ago. What was 5 days ago? Hold on. Hello? Sorry, I closed my thing. 5 days ago. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Was a Tuesday. Okay, so it should be available tomorrow. So... Mom.gov should be available tomorrow. An official website geared towards helping expectant mothers, which is good. That's good. He did veer off the topic, including digression about Trump's derangement. Oh, I don't care. Dr. Oz wasted no time in telling Americans that they're not having enough children. I wish they wouldn't say babies. I wish they would say children, you know? Because I feel like the way they talk about it is just, we need cannon fodder. That's kind of how I feel like they're talking about it. And again, that's just, there's an S in the URL. Oh, moms. Okay. Ooh, oh, okay. I'm on the site right now. Thank you, Moby. Thank you. Oh, I got so mad right there. I was like, what the fuck? It is moms.gov. Addressing the needs of mothers and fathers who face difficult or unexpected pregnancies and ensuring the well-being of mothers and the health of American families. Access pregnancy support services and health centers. Navigating pregnancy can feel overwhelming, but you don't have to do it alone. Okay. Pregnancy centers provide support services for mothers and families. Many centers offer pregnancy tests, ultrasounds, STD and STI testing and treatment, parenting support, childbirth classes, medical referrals, and material goods like clothes and diapers at no cost for you. There are more than pregnancy centers, and the majority of pregnancy centers offer limited medical services. Check with your local. Okay. Federal health center, underserved areas and populations in District of Columbia provide high quality health care. There's about this and that many sites staffed by medical professionals, OBGYNs, pediatricians, case managers to ensure patients receive full range of care. For them to have announced the website and it just doesn't work though. To be fair, they did say it was going to be established Monday and they announced this 5 days ago, which was last Tuesday. So I was just like, oh, it's going to be available tomorrow. Or, well, because right now where I am, it's Sunday now. So tomorrow, technically for me, 2 days from now. Okay. So jumpstart with Trump accounts. We're building long-term financial security of millions of children by creating investment accounts for U.S. under the age of 18. Eligible children enrolled in Trump accounts will receive $1,000 from the U.S. Treasury on account that they can access at 18 years old. Okay. Looking to start a family, find the world's lowest prices on prescription medications on Trump RX. I'm so sorry. Again, my inherent rage and bias is coming up. I have to, as a scientific input, non-biased scientific input, I'm going through this. It's a summary of what free clinics already do, though. Smells like communism to me. Whoa. I fucking knew that that's not gonna be there. Okay, let me look up Zoloft. Zoloft. Okay. Huh? This is an out-of-pocket price. If you have insurance, check with your... It may be even lower. Select... Okay. Original price... What strength? Okay, I don't take this, so I don't know the inherent price. That's why I was trying to look up, like, a medication that I take. Let me look up, actually, another one of my medications. Okay, so it doesn't have that one either. I'm slamming his name on it before he can go, what about Obamacare? I don't think Obama's name should be on that either. I agree. I agree. That's sensationalizing them. I agree. I don't think their name should be on it. I don't agree with their names being on that. I misspelled out. Anyway. Okay. So let me look up this medication. What its price is normally. Okay, so it's an it's not an SSRI? And name. Okay, so this is a antidepressant. Not my concern at all. I wonder why Zoloft isn't on there. I need a whole list of that on there. It's not telling me the, like, general price. Hello? What is this? Price there? Yeah, I know. I know. It's an SNRI, serotonin and norepinephrine reuptake inhibitor. Okay, I want to look up the difference of SSRIs and SNRIs, because maybe that's the reason why. Maybe, hold on. Maybe if I look up SSRIs. That's the only one that shows up, and it's an SNRI. Bruh, where are you, Jeeper? Damn. Damn, Zen. Damn. Oh, good. Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming back. Again, I'm looking up the price on other sites. Okay, so Honeybee offers it for $8. Because I looked up Honeybee Health. Okay. Good RX. CVS Pharmacy. Okay, so this one compares all of these prices. All of the prices right here. Compares them all. I think... Is this with insurance? How do I, like, take insurance off? Because the other one was without insurance. It was just over the counter. I'm mildly interested in their insulin. Ooh, that's true. That one's a good one. Okay, so we have a couple insulins. Insulin Lispro. What is this one? Insulin Lispro. Out of pocket. Okay. $25. All right. Okay. Let me look up Insulin Lispro. Insulin Lispro. Because this is the generic one. We got a wide range of prices here. None of them are $25, to be fair. Wide range of prices. Let me look up here. Hello? Oh, this one doesn't have insulin. Ooh, boo, boo. Present the coupon at your pharmacy to claim your Trump RX savings. Does that work? I don't... Set to launch in early 2026. Trump RX will be a government-run website where consumers can compare and purchase medications directly from participating drug manufacturers. Okay. The goal is to improve transparency in drug pricing and reduce out-of-pocket costs for individuals who pay cash for their prescriptions and don't have comprehensive drug coverage. Okay. That is supposed to help, for sure. How it works: go to the website, allow users to search for prescription drug names, drug by name. Once found, so manufacturer's own page to complete the purchase at a discounted rate. Do that, I guess. Print coupon. Does this work? Don't look at that. I don't think that's... Don't look at that. That's not going to help you. Okay. Go to work? What? Add to... What? It's supposed to take you to another site. That's what it said. Insulin Lispro from Eli Lilly and Company. Up Eli Lilly and Company. Or Eli Lilly and Company, excuse me. Hold on. What? Oh my god, I got so many ads. Holy shit, that was ridiculous. I want to see who they lobbied to. They lobbied in general. They just lobbied the whole thing. We don't like lobbyers, by the way. We don't like lobbyers in general. They lobbied everybody. Holy shit. You need an ad blocker while you're... You're right. Right. It's fine. Whatever. It's fine. It's so fine. Okay, so Eli Lilly and Co. Pharmaceutical company. Out-of-pocket price. $25 for out-of-pocket's not bad, actually. We do two, 35. $75 a month. $100 a month, which $35 a month. 5. So you can get 4 per month for $35, or you get 1 per month kind of for 20. Okay, well, not bad for insulin, actually. Hello? I clicked on it. They are very limited in some of their... Oh. Selling Prestige. Pfizer's selling Prestige. Very interesting, very interesting. Going incognito 2, they will put you on a watch list for looking up the lobby for the abolishment of lobbying. I agree. I don't think lobbying should be a thing. I think it should be illegal. But I don't think this is a bad thing at all. I do think this is kind of a sensationalized, because this is for people that don't have insurance. Like as of right now, it's just generally for people who don't have insurance, because it's an out-of-pocket price. And typically, they don't have enough medication on the site. My worry is, I'll search Plan B. Sure, I'll search Plan B. Typically, that's an over-the-counter. Nope. Nope, not there. But typically, again, this website is very limited on their medication, and so I'm kind of skeptical on, like, as of right now, like, the insulin one is not bad, actually, but they don't have enough medication. A lot of common medications. Do they even have ibuprofen on here? Don't have ibuprofen. What is this one? What do you do? Ulcerative colitis. Nope. But again, they had a lot of these are very specific, and so this is just not a general source that you can use right now. It also will put people off because he put his name on it, which, again, I don't really like. I don't like that Obamacare's named that way. I didn't like that either. So if you're looking for your specific medication, it's very unlikely that you will find it. As of right now, I think it definitely needs to broaden its cost per pen of what? Per pen? Gonal F is commonly prescribed fertility medication. Thanks to President Trump, the days of big pharma price gouging are over. Leveraging the full weight and power of the United States President, every American gets the lowest price on the prescription in the developed world. Again, this seems very sensationalized. I don't really like. Most impactful prescription price reset of our country. It puts more money in the Americans' pockets and finally brings care back within reach. Proof is in the prices. Wegovy, Ozempic. What does this do? These are all diet supplements. I don't like what they advertised a fertility treatment and they advertised diet supplements. Doesn't Canada have universal health care? Canada does not have universal health care. I thought it did. And they're only comparing to Canada because they don't have universal health care. Dev, check DMs. Oh, God. Yeah. I wasn't going to bring that up, though. I'm trying not to be biased. I'm trying to do just general medication. However, they're advertising a lot of diet supplements, which they could have done because it's a fad, but I don't really think they're doing it that way. Is there a connection between prescription originates telehealth or local provider, which pharmacy receives it? How will a pharmacist process a claim for drugs available? Where do I need to send the prescription? Private pharmacy. How do I purchase? Displays discounted drug pricing offers but does not sell or dispense drugs. Patients can access the drugs through instructions below. It just says, here's a coupon, go to your pharmacy, and I don't know if that even works. And I don't want to test it personally, because I could test it, potentially. God damn it. Am I going to be the test for this? I don't want to test it. They're going to look at me like I'm stupid. Like, what the fuck is that? Which drugs are listed on the website? Okay. More commonly prescribed brand name drugs are listed on Trump RX as such as fertility and weight loss drugs. Many more drugs are coming soon. Okay, so I do think the drugs that they are selling right now are drugs that they more readily agree with, because they have that support from the people selling them. Again, I don't think this is just not a reliable way to get medication, because it's not general, it's not universal, it's just not everywhere. And I'm pretty sure somebody else has already done this, honestly. You can tell that there is a certain audience that they're trying to cater to. Well, no shit, it's a fertility initiative. Exactly. But again, weight loss. Yeah. But yeah. It's just not a general thing yet. Could it be a decent thing? It could. Sorry, I'm really trying to get over my own inherent bias. I really am. Anyway. Okay. But yes, this is, in general, a fertility initiative, in my opinion. I don't like how this is sensationalized, in my opinion. That's just me personally. That's my opinion. I don't like how it's sensationalized. I don't want the, God damn it, just give me like a summary of the fucking, I don't want the overview. Democrats, energy, and commerce. Okay. So, I kind of want to read that just to see, because we looked at the site itself. It looks like it has potential. Like, I'm going to be completely honest. It looks like it has potential. Do you know how, you can, you can? Fuck, how do you do that? How do you do that? Get rid of it. I'll look at it later. We know this site can have potential. I want to see how Democrats are currently, like... I want to see how they're going to skew this. For at least 15 drugs. How many drugs are on the site? I don't know how many are on the site in total. Okay, obviously if it's a business, you're gonna again, he treats this as a business, so you're gonna advertise the best quality of, like, the best deal, which is gonna be on specific medications that people can't fucking find or can't fucking get because they don't need them. 43 drugs made by 5 manufacturers, and okay, 43. Do we know? There might be more now. And again, I will continue to insist that it does have potential. It's just not big enough yet for that. And it also, I don't really like that people... it just seems like a slippery slope into just everybody using one site that can absolutely price gap. Like, if the benefit of capitalism is 43 to fail to hold on, we don't know that yet. I'm seeing what their point of view is, so I can point out the bias in their stuff, because there's bias everywhere. Democrats are not, we just agree with some of their policies more. That doesn't mean they're better. But I don't like that everything's all on one website, because it makes it easier for people to create a monopoly on something like that, you know? If he gets more people in support of his own website, he will continue to, like, he will quote unquote drop the prices. But then it leads to all the potential of a monopoly in that general area, which is very scary, especially for medications that are essential. Officially launched with only 43 drugs made by 5. No, it is only 43 drugs made by 5 manufacturers and failing to deliver. It only had 43. Am I reading that wrong? For at least 15 drugs, less expensive generic versions are available. Okay. Thousands of drugs out there. Yeah. At least 7 medications had pre-existing coupons on GoodRx at the same or nearly same price. We did look up insulin, and TrumpRx did advertise for less than GoodRx. We looked at that for sure. Okay. And this is, again, without insurance. There's no official way, and easiest permanent way is a browser extension. Got you. Well, thank you for looking into that. I appreciate that. For 2 other drugs, chance. Oh. Okay. So yeah. Again, has potential. Don't want a monopoly on that website, but it has potential. Not anything scary. You are on Chrome? Yes, I am on Chrome. Okay. What were we doing? Looking to start a family on... Oh, we were looking at moms.gov. Duh. This, yeah. So yes, this is for... Hello? Infections, health conditions... Emergency preparedness in a workplace. Pregnancy radiation exposures. Okay. I'm gonna look on all of these, but I don't feel like I have enough time. Okay, let's start from the top. Yes, this is definitely a fertility campaign, which I agree is a problem, but there's other bigger problems. Hey, so I can't find one near me because then that might dox me, so I'm not gonna look at those. Okay, that's... Okay, I think that's right. Enroll eligible children. First, second, ill use Firefox. Thank you, thank you. I'm going to just keep that all the way over there. All right. Enroll eligible children. Jumpstart the American dream. Oh, God. I feel like the American dream is kind of like, oh, I had an emo phase back in back when I was a teenager, and you're like, oh, God. The cringe. Of millions. Fill out. Started. Don't put... I don't like... Ew. Used to use Opera. I use Firefox now. Sounds like a cute... I'm sorry, what? In American companies, the app lets you see exactly what stocks they own and how they're performing. Oof. Account values going up as I scroll down. Does that mean I'm owed 18,000 right now? Thank you. This is okay. As I get older, they'll learn about investing in, okay, watching compound in real time. They'll gain more than just money. Financial literacy is important. Financial literacy is important. So you'd be investing in these companies. I feel like... Why do I... What? Why do I feel like this is just a scam to get people to invest in companies? Why do I feel this way? Oh, they're investing in BlackRock. Probably the richest family in the world. Not companies, but the name in the left. It's all for that. BlackRock. That's what I'm afraid of. BlackRock is an umbrella company. A company that owns companies. That's what I'm afraid of. Again, overall, it has potential, but I don't want to feel like this is a scam. I don't want to do this. So is Disney? You're right. Disney is a scam for sure. I don't want to feel like this is, because this is a good idea, but I just... Yes, this is very much a fertility campaign. For sure. Unfortunately, I don't think... Yeah, they definitely are not offering any resources for abortive care. They're definitely not going to do that. Which I think personally is essential, but I mean, again, they're doing a fertility thing. And their audience is typically white Americans, so no shit. Thank you, local. I'm just restating, okay? Thank you. Oh. Okay. Didn't he try to cut Medicaid? Ooh, dark joke. When wanted to praise Trump for having saved Medicaid. Didn't he try to cut Medicaid? Oh, great. NBC News. I want a more reliable source. Ugh, definitely not from Facebook. Okay. This one's a .org website. Freezing federal funding explained. Federal orders are attempting to dismantle the federal government and threatening to cut off access to federal funding and programs for everyday... Okay. This was released... Why are they reporting on it now? This article was... What? Executive actions freeze federal funding. And what do they do? 7-day one executive order that undermine the rights of marginalized communities and include language that wholesale blocked and rescinded and terminated federal funding related to undocumented immigrants, diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, energy to foreign gender affirming care, and what? When was this article written? I don't like this article because I don't know when it was written. When was that written? It doesn't say. That pisses me off. Loading ad. Shut up. Ad. Wednesday that the Trump administration is withholding $1.3 billion in Medicaid payments to California and is threatening to suspend federal funding to all states if they don't aggressively prosecute fraud in their Medicaid programs. Okay. Is the fraud czar? Ew. The fraud czar? Don't call yourself a monarch. That's not... You shouldn't be calling yourself a monarch. California, because the state isn't taking fraud seriously. There are California taxpayers and American taxpayers who are being defrauded because California isn't taking its program seriously, but also you have people who have been prescribed medications that they don't even need, and that should not be up to you. That should be up to their medical professionals. Should not be up to you to decide what people need. It definitely should be up to the medical professionals to decide what they need. They have drugs put into their bodies that they don't need because fraudsters have actually encouraged false prescriptions and false administration of medications. How would you know? How would you know that? The move is similar to one of the administration took in February, suspending Medicaid payments to Minnesota. War on fraud. Why is everything a war? Shut up. Saving TikTok from extinction in the US. The one that he tried to get extinct, he saved. Great. I'm so glad that you pushed me off the cliff and then pulled me back at the last second. I'm so happy. Thank you so much. Jesus Christ. Or on fraud. What counts as fraud? What is their definition of fraud? Because it just seems like sorry, looking at message. It just seems like I don't know. How do you know what's good for people? You don't have the education that doctors have. You don't know their situation. Doctors are supposed to know their situation, and you're not entitled to that information because of HIPAA violations. It said that the administration is also notifying all 50 states that it could freeze funding to their medical or Medicaid fraud control units if they do not aggressively prosecute Medicaid fraud. The units which exist in each state investigate and prosecute Medicaid provider fraud. We are going to turn off the money that goes into these anti-fraud units, he said, if they fail to do their job. And if we continue to find problems, we can turn off other resources within their state Medicaid programs as well. Now, we have red states and blue states that go after fraud aggressively, but we also unfortunately have some states, mostly blue states, unfortunately, that do not take Medicaid fraud very seriously. What is your definition of Medicaid fraud? I don't understand. You have people who have been prescribed medications that they don't even need. So how would you know? They've had drugs put into their bodies that they don't need because fraudsters have actually encouraged false prescriptions and false administration of medications. Oh, their fraud is dead people still getting it? That's not what it says here. If this is their definition of fraud, it's people that are still that are getting medications that up to their lawmakers they don't need. I don't understand. We want to protect Medicare, but we can't do that if the states that are administering those programs are allowing those programs to be fleeced by fraudsters. So we encourage, whether it's California, New York, Maryland, or Ohio, we encourage people to work with us. We want to help you use technology and other tools to get rid of fraud, to get to the root of the fraud. Addressing the deferral of reimbursement to California, Dr. Oz, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, said that's have generated major red flags for us. Hello? Thank you. What the fuck? Said the administration needs California to clarify 630 million in billing and 500 million in home health services and 200 million in questionable expenditures linked to coverage for undocumented immigrants, he claimed. They're not eligible for Medicaid, however. Yeah. And you get Medicaid. We're not a U.S. citizen. Oh, great. We have a PowerPoint slide, guys. Over the last couple of years, the Trump administration has been aggressively trying to reduce government spending, and they're finding that all the avenues they're going after just aren't wasteful, and what little waste there is so minor that it doesn't even matter. And I mean, the ways that they're going about it just has a lot of potential, but unfortunately, it just scares me. Because if put in the wrong hands, it can absolutely be abused. Like, a lot of it is just so vague right now that if it does become like the Trump RX, if it does become a fully fledged website, then I'm just afraid that it would become a monopoly. Like, what's going to stop them from going after other websites or other companies that are doing the exact same thing? I don't know. Don't know. I also don't know how people, like, I know people can abuse the system. The system, in my opinion, should be cushy enough that because every system's going to be abused, unfortunately. I hate that happens. It's going to unfortunately be abused, but that doesn't mean that the people that need it shouldn't get the care that they deserve. So, I feel like each system should be cushy enough to, I don't know, take on that impact. But that's also a very vague statement as well. I also don't understand how, I mean, the whole thing about fraud is that you're doing it secretly, so I don't understand how illegal immigrants they're not eligible, so I don't understand how they're getting it. I'm not saying that I'm more saying, like, how the fuck did you do that? This is the largest deferral we've ever made, Oz said about the decision to suspend $1.3 billion in Medicaid payments. We're making it for a good reason. We'd like the state to at least come to the table and explain to us how these outlier payments have been generated. Responded by bashing the Trump administration. Typical. Unfortunately, politics have gotten into I'm better than you. No, I'm better than you. Meanwhile, the average person just fucking suffers. Unfortunately. They said California appears to be targeted solely for political reasons. That could be a possibility. I'm not saying that, but I mean, Minnesota was also targeted. My God, I spelled it so right. It's the overpriced political overture. I don't know. I have no clue. No fucking clue. Is 6-month moratoria on new Medicare enrollment? I'm sorry, what? Moratoria? What is moratoria? Oh, AI, fuck you. Oh. Hi, Stasia. Hello. So, they're demanding... Whoa, okay. They're demanding a 6-month delay on new Medicare enrollment for hospices, and home health agencies. So if you have Medicare and you need hospice, you have to wait 6 months before getting in, which means, let me tell you, typically if you're put on hospice, you have 6 months to a year left of your life. So that's very interesting. It will intensify targeted investigations, deploy advanced data analytics, and accelerate the removal of hospice and HHA providers from the Medicare program that are suspected of committing fraud. Most people go, that's what hospice is. They go there to die comfortably, so it's not a burden to their family. The reason you're put on hospice is because typically you're left with 6 months to a year left of your life. And I know that for a fact. That's great. Really fun. But yeah, I'm also trying to push retirement age for 10 years later. Know that. Oh, I need to get rid of the punishment wheel. That's not relevant right now. Okay. We're gonna do that right now. All right. What's the next TikTok? We've gotten through 2 TikToks and it's been 2 hours. Oh, great. It's been 2 hours. How's everybody doing today? I hope you've been doing well. Oh. My model on TikTok has been gone the whole time. Great. Yeah, I'm looking through my personal TikToks because there are some things, again, like I wanted to look through some TikToks and a lot of things have been kind of over sensationalized. However, it has a wide audience. So I've been wanting to kind of like bring the facts into what's happening. So rather than just being like, oh, this is stupid, boo.
Ah, fuck.
A couple of TikToks today. Unfortunately, I have to if I can't doom scroll anymore because I'm so involved, like I feel like politically, or I just want to discuss these things and I want clarification, so I go look up what's happening. So I just I can't stay on TikTok for too long. It makes me depressed. What is NSMP-7? What is that? That is a thing that is being discussed, at least, so let's look at that. This NSMP-7. Oh, NSPia? Not either. No, it's at NSMP. Oh! Oh no, it's this one. Try Red Note then? I don't want to pollute Red Note with my dumbass. Okay. NSMP. This is from whitehouse.gov. Posted September 25th, 2025. It's for doom scrolling and for better for mental health. It. I feel like, I don't know. Heinous assassinations and other acts of political violence in the United States have dramatically increased in recent years. I wonder why. Even in the aftermath of the horrifying assassination of Charlie Kirk, some individuals who adhered to the alleged shooter's ideology embraced and cheered this evil murder while while actively encouraging more political violence. This was preceded by the 2024 assassination of a senior health care executive and the 2022 assassination attempt against Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. 2 separate assassination attempts against my own life in less than 3 months took place during the 2024 presidential election cycle. Mind you, all of these people that did these things were Republican. Were Republican extremists. I looked up each one of these, so I remember that. Riots in Los Angeles and Portland reflect more than 1,000% increase in attacks on U.S. immigration and customs enforcement ICE officers since January 21st, 2025. Compared to the same period last year. Just yesterday, a shooting targeting an ICE facility in Dallas resulted in multiple casualties. I have not seen that one. Separate anti-police and criminal justice riots have left many people dead and injured and inflicted over $2 billion in property damage nationwide. You know that for sure? Where's that number coming from? I want to know where that number is coming from. Political violence is not a series of isolated incidents and does not emerge organically. Instead, it is a culmination of sophisticated, organized campaigns of targeted intimidation, radicalization, threats, and violence designed to silence opposing speech. Not free speech, just opposing speech. Limit political activity, change or direct policy outcomes, and prevent the functioning of a democratic society. A new law enforcement strategy that investigates all participants in these criminal and terroristic conspiracies, including the organized structures, networks, entities, organizations, and funding sources, and predicate actions behind them is required. These campaigns often begin by isolating and dehumanizing specific targets to justify murder or other violent actions against them. They do so through a variety of fora, including anonymous chat forums, in-person meetings, social media, and even educational institutions. These campaigns then escalate to organized doxing. That happens universally, where the private or identifying information of their targets, such as home addresses, phone numbers, or other personal information, is exposed to the public with the explicit intent of encouraging others to harass, intimidate, or violently assault them. As in the case of several ICE agents in Los Angeles being doxxed, the goal of these campaigns can be to obstruct the operations of the federal government as well as aid and abet criminal activity the federal government is lawfully pursuing. Okay, so they're phrasing this in a way that they're trying to... it sounds like dictatorship? Yeah, a little bit. They're phrasing this in a way that they're trying to protect... they're trying to protect the people participating in dehumanizing others. They're not protecting the average citizen. They're protecting the regime. That's what it sounds like to me. Like, these big words can, like, for somebody that's kind of like, that doesn't know the context around this, it can seem like, oh, they're protecting people. They're protecting their privacy. They're protecting the people's privacy that are working for the government. Unfortunately, that's not the case. They're protecting the people that are protecting them. Fortunately. These campaigns are coordinated and perpetrated by actors who have developed a comprehensive strategy to achieve specific policy goals through radicalization and violent intimidation. I don't know about that one. It is a loophole. Definitely a loophole. I don't know about that one. These campaigns are coordinated and perpetrated. Typically, if they're talking about protesting against, like, ICE, which has happened a lot, and incidentally has turned violent, unfortunately, they're just... protests are completely legal. That's your First Amendment right. Peaceful protests are, obviously. Typically, they're not... the violence is not instigated by the protesters. Unfortunately, there have been protests that have turned violent, that have been instigated. And there's also been kind of a... I know somebody talked about it, how somebody instigated something and other people were like, no, we're not doing that. So, I don't know. There are common recurrent motivations and indicata uniting this pattern of violent and terroristic activities under the umbrella of self-described anti-fascism. which we don't like fascism. We don't like that. These movements portray foundational American principles, support for law enforcement, and border control as fascist to justify and encourage acts of violent revolution. This anti-fascist lie, I don't like that they put lie there, has become the organizing rally cry used by domestic terrorists to wage a violent assault against democratic institutions, constitutional rights, and fundamental American liberties. They're just throwing vague terms now. Democratic institutions. So what about January 6th? What about that? When the entire building was overrun. What about that? That's my question to this. Because those people were not anti-fascist at all. That's my question. The common threads animating this violent conduct include anti-Americanism, anti-capitalism, and anti-Christianity. Support for the overthrow of the United States government, extremism on migration, race, and gender, and hostility towards those who hold traditional American views on family, religion, and morality. I don't think that's the case. This seems like a very woe is me, people don't like me anymore type of thing. Typically, people that quote-unquote believe these things are the minority. I don't... Towards those who hold traditional American views on family, religion, and morality. I feel like they're just trying to villainize people that don't agree with them. Which is exactly what's happening. As described on the order of September 22nd, 2025, designating Antifa as domestic terrorist organization, the groups and entities that perpetuate this extremism have created a movement that embraces and elevates violence to achieve policy outcomes, including justifying additional assassinations. For example, Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin engraved the bullets used in the murder with so-called anti-fascist rhetoric. The United States requires a national strategy to investigate and disrupt networks, entities, and organizations that foment, I think that's how you said that word, political violence so that law enforcement can intervene in criminal conspiracies before they result in violent political acts. I know, I get, again, a lot of these just sound like good ideas on the surface, but then when you look into them, it just seems like, why? Why are you doing that? That's, like, we can agree that, like, the way, like, this needs to be done, but the way you're doing it is so extreme. It doesn't seem... It seems advantageous to you, not to anybody else, and you're framing it in a way that everybody wants. Where's Local? Local, am I saying this right? Local, my helpful fact checker, please. Am I jumping to a conclusion here that I'm not supposed to be jumping to? I'm really trying not to be biased right now. Okay, so let's just look up what fascism is. Just so people can understand what that is. I don't really want to go on Wikipedia. Hold on. I don't really want to go on Wikipedia. We'll go on Britannica. Fascism, political ideology, and mass movement that dominated many parts of Central, Southern, and Eastern Europe between 1919 and 1945. You seem on point. They want to call anything they don't agree with terrorism. Oh, thank God. Oh. Okay. Okay, cool. Whew. Just wanting to make sure. Thank you. Europe's first fascist leader, Benito Mussolini, took the name of his party from the Latin word fasces, which I think fasces, which refers to a bundle of elm or birch rods, usually containing an axe, used as a symbol of penal authority in ancient Rome. Although fascist parties and movements differed significantly from one another, they had many characteristics in common, including extreme militaristic nationalism, which I think the United States is currently suffering from. Like, make America great again. I feel like that phrase is nationalism, and it's becoming militaristic right now because they're using governmental rhetoric to pursue, like, they've labeled just people that disagree with them as terrorists, which is what I mean. That's what goes on in, like, countries that people don't like, you know, like countries that not people don't like, countries that general population, the United States government doesn't like. Like, they've done this in the Middle East, which we unfortunately are attacking, and we're using that same excuse as a reason to attack them. When in reality, that's not why we're attacking them at all. We're attacking them mainly for oil, like mainly for oil and gas. Like, so that's why gas prices are going up right now, because we wanted more control over it. And they're using the same rhetoric to control their own people as other organizations are using to control their people. They have made people not agree with each other so they can control them. They've definitely split people up for sure. Contempt for electoral democracy and political and cultural liberalism. So contempt for electoral democracy, I feel like that's January 6th right now. I do feel like that's January 6th. And a lot of people would want Trump to continue into a third term, which is a violation of the 25th Amendment. And political and cultural liberalism. Sorry, I was looking at chat. A belief in natural social hierarchy and the rule of elites. And the rule of elites. I feel like that one's the most important one. The rule of elites. The desire to create Volksgemeinschaft. I think that's Volksgemeinschaft. What is Volksgemeinschaft? Oh, radically unified and hierarchical organized body in which the interest of the individuals would be strictly subordinate to those of the nation, or Volk. Like a military battalion. German for people. The people's community would be permanently prepared for war and would accept the discipline that is required. Oh God, I didn't think I'd be showing that symbol on my on my stream. I might get banned for that one. And I would understand that. Ugh. Yeah, a people's community. Basically where one person's ideology is for the people. In which individual interests would be subordinate to the good of the nation. Yeah. At the end of World War II, the major European fascist parties were broken up, and in some countries, such as Italy and West Germany, they were officially banned, beginning in the late 1940s. However, many fascist-oriented parties and movements were founded in Europe as well as Latin America, South Africa. Although some European neo-fascist groups attracted large followings, especially in Italy and France, none were as influential as the major fascist parties in the interwar period. Thank you, Britannica. Excuse me. Just wanted to, so a church. I wouldn't go as far as a church, exactly. Some churches for sure. They definitely used religion as a key In Nazi ideology, they definitely used religion as a key form of argument, and people people were more willing to follow those in power with religious backgrounds, because back then that was kind of the only verifiable way to know if somebody was quote unquote morally correct. But because religion is based off of kind of oral storytelling, it definitely can be misconstrued. There's so many stories in the in the Bible, for example, there's so many stories that have been evolved over time that you don't really know what they truly mean anymore. Sucks. But yes, I wanted to elaborate what fascism is exactly, just so people, personally, I'm going to say it, I'm anti-fascist. I do not want a fascist government, and I think definitely it's going there because of the most important thing, in my opinion, in that definition that the Britannica gave us, the rule of the elites. The rule of the elites. So that's what I think we're going towards, personally. The United States requires a national strategy. I read that, I think. Did I read this? No. Anyone want to be test subject for my mod things? Might mute me for 10 minutes. Oh no. The United States requires a national strategy to investigate and disrupt networks, entities, and organizations that foment political violence so that law enforcement can intervene in criminal conspiracies before they result in political acts. Through this comprehensive strategy... Oh, I'm so sorry. Through this comprehensive strategy, law enforcement will disband and uproot networks, entities, and organizations that promote organized violence, violent intimidation, conspiracies against rights, and other efforts to disrupt the functioning of a democratic society. Conspiracies against rights. My problem is, what rights? What rights exactly? I do feel like that, again, is incredibly vague. I feel like they should definitely be more elaborate on what exactly, because they're giving events that have been actively hostile towards people that quote unquote are exhibiting their First Amendment right of free speech, but that conspiracies against rights could mean any rights, with any rights being by people that they deem a threat. If they quote unquote are stepping on another person's rights in their interpretation, then that could mean anything. Investigating domestic terrorist organizations. The National Joint Terrorism Task Force and its local offices, collectively, shall coordinate and supervise a comprehensive national strategy to investigate, prosecute, and disrupt entities and individuals engaged in acts of political violence and intimidation designed to suppress lawful political activity or obstruct the rule of law. The strategy shall include the investigatory and prosecutorial, measures set forth in this section. The organization shall investigate potential federal crimes relating to acts of recruiting or radicalizing persons for the purpose of political violence, terrorism, or conspiracies against rights. Okay, that in general sounds good. The violent deprivation of any citizen's rights. Again, that in general sounds good. A lot of what he says in general sounds appealing, but then when you go in and elaborate on it, it's just like, why are these people included? They're such a small minority. Institutional individual funders and officers and employees of organizations that are responsible for, sponsored, or otherwise aid and abet the principal actors engaging in the criminal... Every time I talk, this is when I talk too much. My body's telling me I've talked too much. Engaging in the criminal conduct described in subsections A and B of this section. That's A and B, which are here and here. And non-governmental organizations and American citizens residing abroad or with close ties to foreign governments, agents, citizens, foundations, or influence networks engaging in violations of the Foreign Agents Registration Act, or money laundering by funding, creating, and supporting entities that engage in activities that support or encourage domestic terrorism. Okay, so the best way to combat this is to create government agencies for those minority groups that are quote unquote being quote unquote instigating acts of terrorism or acts of radicalization. They need to create organizations so people can come together and talk directly to them and so they can listen. The organization shall consult and coordinate with executive departments and agencies. Why are there two? Why are there two of these? I don't understand. As needed to determine whether such agencies can apply existing authorities or exercise their own authorities as appropriate to support the organization's investigations and relevant prosecutions of political violence. Oh God, I have so many of these to get through. Okay. Where was I? I was right here. Okay. The organizations may, to the extent permitted by law, request operational assistance from and coordinate with law enforcement partners when investigating domestic terrorism. I feel like every time they say domestic terrorism, they need to restate what domestic terrorism is, or they need to make this a link to go back up the page to restate what their version of domestic terrorism is. As a person that kind of forgets often, luckily I'm remembering just fine right now. I would probably need to go back and reread everything just so I can make sure I have everything correct and not assume something wrong. National Joint Terrorism Task Force shall provide regular process updates to the President through the Assistant to the President and Homeland Security Advisor. The Attorney General shall direct the Department of Justice to prosecute all federal crimes to the maximum extent permissible by law, related to the investigations described in subsections A through C of this section. That scares me a little. Hi, Manute. Thank you so much. We're talking about current events right now, so I don't know if you want to stay, but thank you. The Attorney General shall issue specific guidance that ensures domestic terrorism priorities include politically motivated terrorist acts such as organized doxing campaigns. I do think doxing campaigns are not great. However, I do think our own government, like doxing campaigns are dangerous for anybody. I do think that is true. However, again, I am scared that this is going to be abused by them. It's going to be abused because I feel like they're going to prioritize their people over others, such as like there are streamers that they may not support, like Cutie Cinderella has gotten doxxed and swatted many times, and just by people watching her streams, and it's incredibly unfortunate. This guidance shall also include an identification of any behaviors, fact patterns, reoccurrent motivations, or other indicata common to organizations and entities that coordinate these acts in order to direct efforts to identify or prevent political violent activity. The Secretary of Treasury, in coordination with the Attorney General, shall make available all resources to the maximum extent permitted by law. Good. All resources to identify and disrupt financial networks that fund domestic terrorism. Okay. Make all resources. Okay, so they're going to take all resources to do such a thing. I thought they were going to make it available to the public, like resources about who they're doing, what they're doing, but they're definitely not going to be doing that. Giving them a name doesn't matter if it pertains to them or not. It's terrifying. It's terrifying how specific they're being in what they're going to do, but how general they're being in who they're going to do it to. It's not great. It is very scary. The secretary acting through terrorism and Office of the Department of Treasury shall deploy investigative tools, examine financial flows. Secretary shall provide guidance for financial institutions to file suspicious activity reports and investigate an indicator of illicit funding streams to ensure such activity is rooted out at the source and referred for law enforcement action as appropriate. Commissioner of the Internal Revenue Service shall take action, to ensure that no tax-exempt entities are directly or indirectly financing political violence or domestic terrorism. In addition, domestic terrorism. Okay, so anybody that maybe donates, what I'm scared of is like how far they're going to take this. If they take this extremely far, especially for LGBTQ plus people, if somebody donates to the Trevor Project, does that mean that they're going to suffer now? That's my most extreme hypothetical at the moment. I'm not really trying to think of all the hypotheticals, but that's just my most extreme hypothetical at the moment. In addition, where applicable, the commissioner shall ensure the Internal Revenue, the IRS, refers such organizations and to the Department of Justice for investigation and possible prosecution. All federal law enforcement agencies with investigative authority shall question and interrogate within all lawful authorities. That doesn't mean much because the United States has tortured people before. Individuals engaged in political violence or lawlessness regarding the entity or individual organizing such actions and any related financial sponsorship of those actions prior to the adjudication or initiation of a plea agreement. Again, I feel like this is going after people that are anti-fascist, but I feel like all this should apply for people that were in the January 6th thing. I feel like that should apply. And a lot of them did get prosecuted, but it took a while. Some people still haven't been prosecuted, and they're not going to. All federal law enforcement agencies within investigative authority shall adopt strategies similar to those used to address violent crime and organized crime to disrupt and dismantle entire networks of criminal activity. Department of Justice, in the course of and as a result of investigations directed by Section 2 of this memorandum, the Attorney General may recommend any group or entity whose members are engaged in activities meeting at the definition of domestic terrorism. The Attorney General may recommend that any group or entity whose members are engaged in activities meeting the definition of domestic terrorism in this section merits designation as a domestic terrorist organization. Okay. So if there is a completely peaceful group peacefully protesting and somebody goes in and instigates a violent occurrence, that could qualify that entire group to be dismantled and to be prosecuted. Again, that is an extreme answer. That is one of the more extreme things to think of, but that's still a possibility. I'm not happy about that. The Attorney General shall submit a list of any groups or entities to the President through the Assistant to the President and Homeland Security Advisor. The Attorney General and the Secretary of Homeland Security shall designate domestic terrorism as a national priority area and develop appropriate grant programs to allocate funding or law enforcement partners to detect, prevent, and protect against threats arising from this area. Again, Local brought up earlier that a lot of these things are symptoms. They're treating symptoms, but they're not treating the cause of said illness. The initial cause of all of these reactions. They're not treating that. They're treating the symptoms of all of these. And so I just feel like these things are going to keep happening. Like, they're treating the symptoms as a way to silence you. It's like a doctor giving you pain medication for chronic arthritis. Well, illnesses are them. What else can they do? There's a lot that you can do. Sorry, I zoned out. Might be almost time to stop the stream, but I'll finish this. I mean, there's a lot you can do. I mean, if you have a bacterial infection, you treat with the antibacterial, or if you have a fungal infection, antifungal. Not if you want to stay the illness and stay in power. Oh, no, I agree with you. They definitely want to stay in power. They definitely want to stay in power, but that was just me being like, they're just treating the symptoms. You don't understand my analogy. I got you now. I'm sorry. Local, I'm so sorry. I'm a little slow sometimes. As Epoxy greatly put it, I'm the dumbest smart person she's ever met. So I'll take it. Yeah. General provisions. I feel like this is... Nothing in this memorandum shall be construed to impair or otherwise affect the authority granted by law to an executive department or agency or head thereof. I'm sorry, what? Shall be... Do I not know the definition of construed? Understand or explain the sense or intention of, usually in a particular way with respect. Okay, that's what I thought it was. To impair or otherwise affect. Okay, so nothing up here is going to impact the authority granted by law to an executive department or agency or head thereof. That, I guess, is... I don't like that wording. The functions of the Director of Office Management and Budget relating to budgetary, administrative, or legislative proposals. This memorandum shall be implemented consistent with applicable law and subject to the availability of appropriations. It's diplomatic immunity. I know it is, and I don't like that. I don't like that at all. This memorandum is not intended to and does not create any right or benefit, I was about to say bereft, excuse me, substantive or procedural, enforceable at law or in equity by any party against the United States, its departments, agencies, or entities, its officers, employees, or agents, or any other person. The Secretary of Homeland Security authorized and directed to publish this memorandum in the Federal Register. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. So again, on the outside, this sounds reasonable. Then once you look at... That was supposed to be off. Once you look at the finer details, you see their target audience, and you see their targets, pretty much, which is very unfortunate. But yeah. Getting to the 3-hour mark, so I do think I am going to end it there. TikTok likes to silence me, unfortunately. But yeah, I am going to end it there on TikTok first. Oh, I never turned my music back on. Whoops. But we don't do these streams to scare you. They want to call all opposition terrorists, and it's not good. No, it's not at all. And I don't want to do these. I don't do Tough Talk Thursdays. It's on Saturday, though. Don't mind it. To scare anybody. It's just to inform people of what is happening. Because it is I believe it's your right to know what's going on. even if the government doesn't think so, because that was something that they passed in Tennessee, I think. But yes, I also want to thank Local as well. Local calls me on some of my bullshit, and that was very important for the first topic we were talking about. So that was very important, and I thank you for that a lot. But yes. Again, I don't really raid out on these things. I just kind of end the stream because I don't really want people to be like, "Oh, what'd you talk about?" And I'm like, "The government," and they're like, "Oh shit." But yes, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful morning, evening, night, wherever you are. I hope you get enough sleep, rest, and you get enough food to eat. And I will see you guys next time. Goodbyes, goodbyes. Thank you all again. Goodbyes.